We've got another full moon for this week. I'm ABC 10 Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods. This one is called the flower moon. As you can see, as we head towards the middle and end of the month, we start to transition into that full moon phase, which will officially peak overnight Wednesday into early Thursday. And it is called the flower moon because this is the time of year that we see a lot of things blooming. Last month we had that pink moon, and so this month it's known as the flower moon because it corresponds with flowers blooming. You're not necessarily going to see a flower in the moon, but nonetheless, just kind of one of those things that we look at here. Moonrise is at 7:56 p.m. on Wednesday, and the moon set will be at 5:31. So you got to go in between that time to see that full moon rising and then peaking. Skies should be pretty clear throughout much of the region. I know we've been tracking a couple of thunderstorms, especially throughout the Sierra. We're going to see that periodically here, but overnight is when we start to see those clear skies. So things should be pretty good here. We've got a couple of weak waves moving through, and that's going to keep us with at least that chance of showers and thunderstorms for parts of the Sierra on and off through the middle of the week, almost into that holiday weekend. Hey, by the way, speaking of that holiday weekend, we are gearing up for Memorial Day weekend, which is going to trend to be actually on the cooler side here. We're going to pick up those southwest winds, ushering in that cool breeze coming in from the Pacific. Average highs are in the mid to almost upper 80s in some locations this time of year. We're going to be below that for Saturday and Sunday, getting back to almost near average for Memorial Day with a high of 82. As far as the nationwide outlook, ending our month of May, beginning of June, cooler than average across the West Coast and likely wetter. We're going to have to keep track of any potential showers, especially for that Memorial holiday weekend forecast all the way through the holiday. The unofficial start to summer, likely drier through the central part of the state. As far as our June climate, you can see that this is the time of year that we really start to ramp up those average highs. The lows start to moderate somewhat as well. Average highs about 90 degrees for the entire month. Last year, though, we had a cooler than average high temperature for 2023. As far as rainfall, less than about a quarter of an inch. So we really start to dry things out. And this is also the time of year we start to see that elevated fire danger, unfortunately. Last year, we only had 1/100th of an inch of rain. When we talk about records, though, the record hottest temperature for the month of June for downtown Sacramento, 112 degrees. So we're starting to move into that territory where we see those record highs in the 100s pretty regularly. June 30th is when we hit that back in 1934. As far as the wettest day, it's not much. It was less than an inch of rain. All we needed to do was get to about 0.8 of an inch of rain, and that qualified for the wettest day back on June 3rd, 1993, with 0.81 inches of rain. No rain in the forecast here for our 5-day regional outlook for the mountains. We'll see mainly some showers east of the crest for the Tahoe Basin. Things look pretty dry for much of this week. For the foothills, we're looking at dry conditions with highs falling a little bit by the holiday weekend. And for the coast, it's going to be on and off periods of fog here, especially for the holiday weekend. It could be actually a quite cool forecast for the Bay Area. 10-day forecast for the valley. We're going to get that warmth and breezy weather for the beginning of the week, and then things start to cool off as we head into our Saturday, Sunday, and Monday forecast for that holiday weekend. For that flower moon forecast, overnight lows dropping into the 50s Wednesday night into early Thursday. A little chilly out there to see that full moon. If you're up in the high country, those lows will be in the 30s. We've got analysis just like this with full in-depth forecasts as well as explainers and weather specials on our weather playlist on ABC 10 Plus. Right now, I want to turn it over to ABC 10 meteorologist Rob Carlmark, who spoke to Dr. Alex Pettit for a little bit more on the flower moon.
We've got something coming up that a lot of people are interested in, and it's called the flower moon. So tell us what you know about the flower moon.
Okay, so you've heard of the phases of the moon before, right? Like it goes through new to full and everything in between. This happens as the moon orbits us, and we see that phase change. It goes around a full cycle every month or so, right? Every month you'll get a new moon or a full moon. So it turns out there's only about 12 of these full moons you get a year, more or less. So it's not too hard to give them names. You've heard of the harvest moon before, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That happens in September time. People named it because, it's a good time to start the harvest. And it turns out a lot of the different moons of the year have a similar kind of name. And it's not really something set in stone. Different cultures and different societies have different names for these. But the one in May is very commonly related to flowers in some way because it's a very good flowering time. Wherever you look around you, there's flowers in bloom. It's a very pretty time in the spring, right? So lots of cultures have a flower moon around Mayish time. There are many other names for it, but popular one is flower moon.
Now, so if people are expecting, again, we always have to explain this, as on TV, let's say it's referred to, say, as the blood moon or something like that. That's one in the past, or some of these other ones, or the pink moon. It's not necessarily a physical description of the moon, right? So with the flower moon, it's not related to actually seeing flowers in the moon. I know it seems like a silly question, but some people want that clarification.
No, you're absolutely correct. So a lot of them, blood moon is a bit different. The blood moon is kind of reddish, but all the others, blue moon, harvest moon, pink moon, which is what we just had recently. That's from all like the little buds from like the cherry blossom trees and things like that. But yeah, all the others apart from blood moon are just the names of what's going on around you at the time, pretty much. So snow moon, you can probably guess what time of year you get a snow moon, right? It's because there's snow everywhere in wintertime.
Now, I noticed with this one, there is somewhat of a higher interest because it will be passing by something else that people can often see and remark upon, which is a big red giant called Antares. Can you describe what you know about what that star is and its relationship to the night sky?
Yes, Antares is a very famous giant red star. So stars come in a bunch of different colors and sizes. And when stars get older, they puff up. When they get to like their old age, in a sense, they puff up into big red giants. So the sun will do this. Don't cancel your holiday. This is not for another like 6 billion years or something. But in the far future, the sun is going to, in its old stages of life, it kind of runs out of fuel. And as it does so, it puffs up to a large size. So Antares is one of these large old age stars that has not got long left on the clock before it really snuffs out in existence. So it's an old age star, but they get very bright because they expand to a very big size.
Now, some people may be hearing this and they're saying, okay, I'm sold. I want to see this. And, again, it's a full moon, but it has a peculiar name just because of past history. But as far as just viewing a full moon in general, what do you suggest? I mean, a lot of people think that you might need a fancy telescope or things like that. Do you have any general advice for people that want to just observe a full moon?
That's right. A full moon is one of the best things to see in the night sky, right? It's clear. It's the second brightest thing in the sky after the sun. It'll rise a little bit before sunset, I think at about 9 p.m. or so, and it'll be up until about 5 a.m.-ish. And you can see it on the horizon very clearly. It'll be highest at midnight on like the 23rd, on Thursday next week, is when you get the full moon and it's highest in the sky. And just look south at midnight or look to the east after sunset. Very clear. It's hard to give advice about taking a picture because everyone's got different equipment. Some people want pictures of stuff in the foreground. Some people want stars in the background. If you have equipment that can do that, you know more about this than I do probably. So just look to the south at midnight and it should be clear as day if you have no clouds. It's a beautifully simple thing to see.
All right. And, just looking at the forecast, I don't think clouds will be too much of an issue. But my final question is I'm wondering what your perspective is on just the night sky conditions in general. I think we all learned a lesson recently with trying to view the aurora. We were right on the borderline, and some people that perhaps could have seen it latitude wise were unable because of all the light pollution. Do you have any perspective or thoughts on light pollution, night sky viewing, and maybe the best way to enhance your viewing by, avoiding light pollution, what to do?
Yeah, it's an unfortunate thing, right? As humans and our making our society easier has produced lots and lots of light pollution wherever you are. It's if you live in the city or even the suburbs, it's going to be hard. All the street lamps, all the light from homes are going to blind it all out. But drive for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours up to Tahoe, for example, up in the mountains, you get beautiful views. You just have to get away from people, unfortunately. Just an hour's drive should be enough to get a nice, clear night sky. Get far enough, you see the Milky Way, so the tail end of the galaxy we live in. You used to be able to see that 1,000 years ago. There's too many lights now. You can't really see it from inside cities, but you get somewhere nice and dark. Just drive away from people for an hour. You should get a beautiful view.
Whenever I go camping with people that don't often go camping, that one of the things I really look forward to is when it gets dark, because for most people, they're not often out in places, rural, faraway places at night where there's not lighting. And then all of a sudden, their whole perspective on space is just changed because there's so many things out there from, like you mentioned, like you could see part of the galaxy. Satellites are everywhere now.
Yeah.
Can you just, again, sorry to extend this longer, but I think it's interesting
Okay.
from your perspective. If people go out to a very dark place, aside from the flower moon, what other things should they be looking for?
So this is one of those things where being in the Northern Hemisphere is kind of a negative. The Southern Hemisphere gets the best views of the night sky. They get the galactic center, they get our nearby galaxy neighbors. But that's not to say we can't see stuff up here, right? The main thing to me is just the quantity of stars is phenomenal. You're out here in the suburbs or in the city, you look up, you see maybe a few hundred stars or something. You go out into a dark patch of sky and it's littered with stars, right? Thousands and tens of thousands. It's just phenomenal. It gives you a real perspective on just how huge the universe is. As you say, if you're looking at the right time of day, you might see the ISS, the International Space Station, fly over. It's quick, but you can see it. It's the fastest thing moving up there. But yeah, just the quantity of stars astounds me. Whenever I go out there, it's just amazing how many there are.
All right, so we're interested, we're on board. The flower moon is coming very soon, and with your advice, hopefully people will be able to see it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you.